are part of the family, then you should be standing up here in the front with us. Because that is what this is about. This is about killer cops going crazy and us saying that we're not going to take it anymore. What do we want?
Justice!
When do we want?
Now!
What do we want?
Justice!
When do we want?
Now!
What do we want?
Justice!
When do we want?
Now!
What do we want?
Justice!
When do we want?
Now!
From Ferguson to SLC and police brutality! From Ferguson to SLC and police brutality! From Ferguson to SLC
And police brutality!
from Ferguson to SLC!
And police brutality!
From Ferguson to SLC!
And police brutality!
No justice, no peace, no killer police!
No justice, no peace, no killer police!
No justice, no peace, no killer police! No justice, no peace, no killer police! No justice, no peace,
No killer police!
no justice, no peace!
No killer police!
Serve and protect, that's our right! You don't care when black kids die!
Serve and protect! That's a lie! You don't care when black kids die! Serve and protect! That's a lie! You don't care when black kids die! Serve and protect! That's a lie! You don't care when black kids die! Serve and protect! That's a lie! You don't care when black kids die! Serve and protect! That's a lie! You don't care when black kids die! Serve and protect! That's a lie! You don't care when black kids die!
1, 2, 3, 4, stop the police! 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, smash the police state! 1, 2, 3, 4,
And the police war!
5, 6, 7, 8,
Smash the police state!
1, 2, 3, 4,
And the police war!
5, 6, 7, 8,
Smash the police state!
acts of police brutality, not in our community.
Acts of police brutality, not in our community!
Acts of police brutality,
Not in our community!
acts of police brutality,
Not in our community!
acts of police brutality,
Not in our community!
acts of police brutality.
Not in our community!
When Ferguson is under attack, what do we do?
Stand up, fight back!
When Ferguson is under attack, what do we do?
Stand up, fight back!
When Ferguson is under attack, what do we do?
Stand up, fight back!
When Ferguson is under attack, what do we do?
Stand up, fight back!
When Salt Lake City is under attack, what do we do?
Stand up, fight back!
When Dylan Taylor is under attack, what do we do?
Stand up, fight back!
When Darian Hunt is under attack, what do we do?
Stand up, fight back!
Dare to struggle, dare to win, never silent, never again.
Dare to struggle, dare to win! Never silent, never again!
Dare to struggle, dare to win.
Never silent, never again!
Not one penny, not $1, we won't pay for police to slaughter.
Not 1 penny, not $1. We won't pay for the police to slaughter. Not 1 penny, not $1. We won't pay for the police to slaughter.
Not one penny,
Not $1. We won't pay for the police to slaughter.
not one penny, not $1.
We won't pay for the police to slaughter.
Not one penny, not $1.
We won't pay for the police to slaughter.
Good cop for bad cop, police violence gotta stop. Good cop for bad cop,
Police violence gotta stop.
good cop for bad cop,
Police violence gotta stop.
good cop for bad cop,
Police violence gotta stop.
Alright, thanks again for everyone for being here. Just another announcement. If you are a scheduled speaker, or if you have been a victim of police brutality, or are here with the families of those who have been targeted by police brutality, come on up to the front and stand with us. Because we are here about the outrageous attacks on black and brown youth in Ferguson, but also about the outrages and injustices we have seen here in Salt Lake City, Utah. So, again, if you can come on up, you should be standing up here with all the rest of us.
Hey, Gina, glad to see you. Got the rest of my speakers.
So if you're a speaker at the rally, please come join us up here at the front. Excellent.
Stand next to Chris. We're all going to stand up there. Yeah, it's kind of up.
Okay, everybody, my name is Chris Manor, and I'm here with Utah Against Police Brutality. We're a grassroots organization here in Utah. We are dedicated to... Can't hear me?
Yes. Grassroots, baby!
We're a grassroots organization here in Utah, and we're committed to ending police violence against our communities, against families, against black and brown youth, all across the state.
And white youth.
We can have white youth also. But we should really emphasize Black Lives Matter. We're here partially because Ferguson has started a firestorm all across this country.
All across the world,
All across the world.
University!
So we're dedicated as a grassroots organization to ending police brutality in Utah. We got a bunch of speakers lined up here today, so we're just going to start going through them. Our first speaker is Barbara. Please give it up for Barbara.
Hello? Can you hear me?
Can you hold that down?
Can everybody hear me? Yeah? Louder?
Yeah.
My name's Barbara Ochoa from Los Angeles. I'm from Guatemala. We experienced a lot of violence through the police officers. Today I just wrote something out for you.
Turn it around. Turn it around.
Hello. There you go.
Figured it out.
Thanks. Alright. So I was 11 years old when police officers came to my middle school and asked to see me. And for once, not for my brother. Although for different circumstances, what I know as domestic violence or child abuse, I feared police nonetheless. I didn't trust any law enforcement or even a young age, an age that was still unable to comprehend at the time, especially with a lot of problems that we're experiencing today. As I entered the administrator's office, two police officers, one man, one woman, both white, stood above me embodying strength, control, and authority. I was originally asked to go to the police officers to file a report against my mother. But as we were about to leave my school's premises, one of the police officers said that it would be a good idea to put me in handcuffs. And at the time, I dressed in big t-shirts, baggy pants, you know, the stereotypical. And I wondered, why do I, an 11-year-old, should wear cuffs for something that I didn't do? The officer responded with, to look tough in front of your friends. To look tough. Little did the police officer know that 37.5% of youth, and much higher for youth of color, will be placed in handcuffs and sent to juvenile detention centers before they reach the age of 17. Almost 40% of our youth of color are targeted for minor offenses and more often than not treated as adults. Yet here are two police officers encouraging a minor to submit to an act that supports stereotypes for poor LGBTQ persons and persons of color. But lately, as we can see on multiple news outlets and social media platforms, the law enforcement is skipping this very step. Although going to juvie is no better, at least it doesn't lead to a predetermined death sentence. And it begins with fear. Fearing that the black boy is going to steal something from your store. Fearing that the immigrant is going to attack you. Fearing that one day indigenous communities will finally get their stolen land back. This city is built on a system that is designed to fear anything that interferes with its lifestyle. Being a body of color automatically consents the world and the police to target, blame, and criminalize us before we're ever given a chance to speak up for ourselves. We're called ghetto, hood, Indian, terrorist, fag, and illegal. These terms and many other racial slurs is the language used by those in power to justify criminalization and our murders. If you take a look around, this rally has been organized to fight against racial oppression and violence, or at least I hope that is why you are all here. This rally was organized in the wake of the indictment of Darren Wilson, the police officer who just unjustifiably shot and killed Michael Brown 112 days ago. Mike Brown left the world a mother and a father, Leslie McSpadden and Michael Brown Sr., two little sisters and a brother. Darren Wilson, on the other hand, is currently in the process of resigning from the Ferguson police force, scot-free. Although the grand jury decided to not indict Darren Wilson, the incident is still under investigation by the federal administration. While this is some light in the dark, the town of Ferguson has now become the center of attention again. Its recent demonstrations have been stigmatized and frowned upon by many, particularly by white privileged communities. Some argue that Ferguson is now in a state of riot. I say that they are in a state of revolution. They are taking the opportunity to voice themselves in ways that they feel is the only way anyone can pay attention to their struggles, even if it means more arrests and more people to hate them, the very people who preemptively dismiss them as thugs. The resistance has become a bootstrap for other cities like Los Angeles, Chicago, New York, and even Mexico, with their now 71 disappearances in Ayotzinapa. These cities have joined in solidarity with Ferguson's movement for Ferguson. And this leads us to today, here in Salt Lake City, in front of the federal building. Many of you are here from word of mouth, flyers, posters, and social media. Many of you have allowed your minds to open and be critically conscious of what's going on. For you, thank you. Please keep it going and push it further. But there are some folks who I've encountered through the rally's webpage who have invalidated the experiences of those who have been targeted by the police, invalidated the families of murdered victims, and invalidated people of color. Although the state of Utah has experienced its own problems with the police, this rally is called Salt Lake City Stands With Ferguson. If we truly support Ferguson's movement, then let us not prioritize the talk about the fact that looting is over the unjust decision of the grand jury. Don't refuse to talk about the system being historically biased toward people of color. Don't refuse to discuss the intricate and important experiences of families who have unjustly lost a loved one to a police officer because of their race. But we must remember that this rally is for those such as Dylan Taylor, Darian Hunt, Corey Kenosha's families, Michael Brown's family, the people of Ferguson, and most importantly, Black lives, because Black lives matter. Because Trayvon Martin mattered. Because Eric Gardner mattered. Because Renisha McBride, a woman seeking help after a car accident, mattered. Because Tamir Rice, a 12-year-old boy, mattered. Because Mia Henderson, a black transgender woman, mattered. Because Marissa Alexander, a woman who was protecting himself from an abusive husband, was sentenced to 20 years, matters. Because Oscar Grant mattered. And because Michael Brown, an 18-year-old boy walking down the street with a friend, mattered. See, this is not a comprehensive list of the lives that have been lost by police shootings or a failed justice system, but they are representative of why we are here and why we should continue to support the city of Ferguson. Thank you. And thank you.
All right, everybody, here. We need to emphasize the point of the sister that the city of Ferguson is actually in a state of a revolution. And we need to join with the people of Ferguson in revolutionizing the system so that we do emphasize that Black Lives Matter. we do emphasize that police cannot go scot-free anymore. I think it's safe to say that the age of police trust by everyone is over. Is Brother Al here? Brother Al. Alright, doesn't look like Brother Al is here. Next, we're going to have a poetry performance by Miss Karen Rodriguez. Woo!
I want to thank you guys all for coming out this time, but I also want to emphasize that the last time we did this, there were a lot less people. And that's sad, but it's also, the reason I'm sad is because since then we've had 3 more murders here in Salt Lake.
Yeah.
Take a look at that. Take a look at the people around you. These are the people you're fighting for. This is the community you're fighting for today. We are here to stand with Ferguson, but we are also here to stand up with the people from our community. We are here to fight to stop oppressing us, to stop murdering our own people. I went to Missouri this week. I went to Missouri, and I found that a lot of people are standing up. Kansas City and Kansas were standing up last night. We were out there, we were fighting, we were protesting. And that's an uprising that I hope continues to spread around this country. And I hope that every single person here does not forget this. Do not let this just stop here. This is an uprising. This is going to go big. This is our own civil rights movement right here in our time. This is our time. I want to share with you something I wrote, because it really disturbed me, but I also want to share with you, and I want to encourage you to keep it going. I stopped by Missouri to witness all the hurt. I stopped by Missouri to see if things had changed, and they hadn't. Where are all the angry kids calling out for justice? Where are all the burnt-away parents go? Where did their tears disappear to? I got to see the anger disappear as he was acquitted. Drowning faces, shifting faces of disappointment and sadness. Where did our justice go? Why does our black man still wish with no hope? When did the term police go from serve and protect to go good fuck with you? I stopped by Missouri to see pain. I stopped by Missouri, but nothing had changed. Everyone still wondering about their day. Everyone confirmed. They fell through and catered to injustice, sitting quietly to the men. But I ain't never conforming. I'm lifting higher than Mr. X because I'm tired. I'm tired of seeing children crying. I'm sick of looking into a brown boy's mother and saying sorry. I'm tired of seeing blatant bloodshed on our pavements. This is what they've been doing. Don't get it twisted. These are modern day lynchings. We are backing down. We're looking for freedom. We are never backing down. This spectrum is not even. We can't confirm. We cannot confirm until our justice is served for the Taylors and the Trayvons, for Mr. Garner, for my boy Hunt. For my boy Hunt. This guy right here. For Mike Brown. We are never backing down. So I can look into a young colored child and tell him he's truly free, till he ain't never scared. We are never backing down till our justice is served.
What do we want?
Justice!
And when do we want it?
Now!
What do we want?
Justice!
And when do we want it?
Now!
Today we're going to find out about how we can get justice for the families here in Utah. The next series of speakers are people who have been affected by police violence in the state of Utah. We have a list of demands that you can take with you that you can act on. Our next speaker is Jacoya. Jacoya is going to share her story.
Hello everyone, my name's Jacoya. About 3 years ago, I was right. Y'all have to excuse me. I've never done this before. About 3 years ago, I was attacked by officer's dog. I was the wrong person. The dog just about killed me, took my life. I feel like I've been fighting this alone for like 3 years, and it's been horrible. The the cop that did it actually got promoted. And I know that he's hurt several other people, and I feel like he's gonna hurt more. Oh, sorry. I feel like this officer is gonna do more damage to the community. I think he needs to be fired. I think he needs to take responsibility, as well as James Winder taking responsibility.
What's his name?
His name is Officer Barrett, Kevin Barrett. So now detective, and his dog is Canine Vortex. But anyway, I do have his lawyer's number, and I ask that you guys call. And hold on one sec. Okay, so call Sheriff Jim Winder and demand Officer Kevin Barrett be fired for his careless and dangerous behavior. Demand the city settle for this grossly negligent behavior. And his number, you guys, is 385-468-9901. And I'll post this on my Facebook if any of you want to add me. Please, I really appreciate any support. That's why I'm standing for my rights and everyone's as well, because I think this is important. If we stand for our rights, whether it's big or little, I'm alive. I still have a voice to stand for. So, amen, you guys. Thank you.
So if one thing I can ask people to do today, please get one of these flyers. This has all the information. It has the information that Jacoya just shared with us today. Do you want justice for Jacoya? Yeah!
Now!
And when do you want it?
No!
So the next speaker we have is Marley Kanash. Marley?
Hello, everybody. I'm really glad to be here from Cedar City. I made this travel, the trip up here because I think it's very important, and I'm trying to find. Sorry, forgive me. I really didn't have anything to say, but I know I came here for a reason, and the reason was to be here and add one more to the group who is looking for change in Utah. I am a Paiute woman. My mother and my father were both Paiutes from Utah. I am full-blooded. And so was my brother Corey. He was shot and left to die in Millard County in October of 2012. Just a little quick rundown of what happened to him. He was a passenger in a car. He was committing no crimes. He had no gun. He was unarmed. The driver was a white male. The cops... He fled from the cops. The driver got out, and the only person the cops saw was my brother. We don't know why, but somehow the driver got away. We believe Corey was a target of racism, which I live in Millard County, Utah. There's a little tiny police station down there ran by corrupt police. Officer Dale Josie, he's the one who had murdered my brother, and it was justified just because of the fact that Corey was Native American, and I know my brother Corey. This music is him. Okay. Corey will never be able to pass on these traditions to his son that he had left. He will never be able to teach him about the eagle feather. He'll never teach him our traditions because the Paiute tradition is believed to be gone in the next decade. There will be no more Paiutes. And they targeted my brother, and they might not say it was race related, but it was. They are killing us off. You know what? Yesterday or the day before was Thanksgiving. To most of you who sat down with your family and you were thankful for everything that this, community or this United States was built on. But me and my family just gathered and we remembered our elders who were taken and murdered, and all the women who were raped, and all the diseases that were brought over to us, and it's still a carryover. Yeah, Corey might not have been a victim of any type of smallpox or anything, but he was still a victim to the eventual takeover of our land years and years ago. And I think it's very unfair that in Millard County, the citizens there who are mostly white, the Native Americans are the minorities, that my brother's case was shunned and looked away. No one wants to look at his case. They just want, it's another Indian. I said this at my last speech. The only good Indian is a dead Indian, and that's exactly what they're saying in Millard County. Under the direction of Sheriff Robert Decker. He had barely released my mom's car to her 2.5 years later, and it came back tampered with. We don't know why it took so long for my mom's car to be returned. What I'm here is, like, what happened over in Ferguson is a shame, and they're trying to cover it up. And you know what? Corey wasn't black, but he was brown. And you know what? We're all one people. There's supposed to be justice for all. I tell my daughters not to. They shouldn't put their hand over their heart anymore and pledge allegiance to the flag, because I taught my daughters justice is not for all anymore. If there was justice, maybe your Uncle Corey would have a case and would have a chance in front of the court.
Again, that's why we're here.
And I believe, the case, like I said, the case is so not worth looking at in Miller County. And I'm always here because, Salt Lake, it's a bigger city, but where I come from, there's nothing like this. No one gathers like this, because it's just my brother alone down there who's been shot and murdered by cops. That's why I have to travel all the way up to Salt Lake just so I can get my brother's story out there. No one's going to pay attention to it. No one's going to pay attention to my brother's case in Miller County. I think it'd be appropriate if the FBI was involved. It was almost on Indian land, but no one wanted to go and deal with it. Everyone's being shunned away, and I think it's important that my brother's story be on, get as much as attention as it can, because it's very important. Corey they slandered him on the news. They said a whole bunch of stuff about him, but to me that didn't matter. The gift that I was given after my brother came into my life is I can see with God's eyes. I loved him no matter what his criminal history was. I loved him because he was my brother, and I loved him because he was a pioneer and he was trying to take on our traditions, but it was taken away by Miller County. And I just hope one day Miller County will have its day in court, and so will Del Josie, and most important, so will Sheriff Robert Decker, who is the criminal whatever it's called, the criminal mastermind of the corruption in Miller County. And I'm really glad to be here. And yeah, Black lives matter, white lives matter, and so does my brother. His lives matter. We're all supposed to be one person under God, right? So I think we still deserve justice, and if we're not going to take it back, and if we're not going to stand up and be the resistance, then who's going to? Our kids are going to be affected. My daughters are beautiful, and they're growing up. I fear for their lives now, but I can't stand back and let them fear for their lives. I'm done, with my brother. His death will never go cold to me. He will always be warm in my heart, and I will not sleep until I get justice.
Emphasize that the sister's message matters, that it is about brown lives and it is about black lives, and we need to recognize, even as white people with all of our white privilege, that we're still never going to face the same struggle against the police. That's an important message. We need to, as white people, openly acknowledge we can be part of the struggle, but the struggle doesn't affect us in the same way that it affects brown and black lives. Brown and black lives which matter. The next speaker we have today is Cindy Moss.
Hi, I am speaking as the aunt for the aunt of Darian, Susan's sister, and today I want to tell her story a little bit. My sister was going to work the morning Darian was killed, thought everything was fine. She hugged her son goodbye, commenting on how wonderful he looked because he was dressed. She thought to go out and get a job. We have no way to know that because we can't ask him now. A little bit later, while she was at work, she gets a call that somebody with a sword was killed by her home. She panics because she knows earlier that he was playing with that sword. The family, they've had it in their family for years. She pulls her kids in the car and goes running to the scene, wanting to know if that's her son. It's blocked off, she can't see. All they tell her is he's brown. It's probably not your son. My sister's white. Darian's dad is black. They ushered her immediately away to the police station where we all gathered, and they one by one took her children into rooms alone to question them, to try to find dirt on Darian.
Can you imagine?
To cover the murder of him.
Shame on him.
she couldn't leave because her kids were there. We were all trapped, and they said we could leave, but obviously we couldn't, as they were one by one questioned by the cops to find something wrong with Darian so that they could exploit him instead of investigating the police officers. Those police officers were not investigated or talked to for a week. Supposedly the fraternal order of police didn't have anyone to talk to them. As we mourned and wanted to just even see Darian, have somebody even at least identify his body, they would not allow it. He was first he laid on the ground from 9:30 in the morning until 4:30 in the afternoon.
God have mercy on their souls. That's disgusting.
We waited and couldn't get to see him. The first chance my sister got to see her son was after they had done an autopsy. And we didn't even know how many times he was shot. We're scouring him and screaming as we're noticing how many times he is shot. This is the story of my sister when she loves her baby and just wants to see him and know he's okay, and she knows he's not. She's wishing it's not him. We go on to find out there's actually 6 shots, and they're all from the back. They try to smear him by saying he's used drugs. There's no drugs found in the system by the toxology report. Darian was a sweet boy. He'd run Ragnar earlier this year. Always wanted a challenge, always wanted to do good. Watched the news about Africa and people that were hurt there and wanted to help. Anytime he saw anyone hurting, he wanted to help. His life is gone, and we will never have the chance to see what he could have accomplished in his life. Then my sister one day is driving in a parking lot in Walmart right by her house. It's the only shopping center, wishing she could talk to her son again and find out what happened. And yet again they persecute her. She just wants to watch and make sure they don't hurt someone else that's in the car, and they come back to taunt her, laugh at her that her son was killed in their city. Now she has charges over sitting there to watch.
Disgusting. Shame on us.
We as a family ask that you will contact that's in Lehigh and get them to drop the charges. They're invalid charges of a mom who just wanted to make sure other people didn't have the same fate that my nephew did. Please help us fight that more people are not hurt by the police that think they can do anything.
We have our support.
Thank you so much.
Please help Darian Hunt fight back against these corrupt charges. You can call the Lehigh City prosecutor. You can demand that they drop these charges. Are you going to demand that they drop these charges? Yeah! Are you going to make the phone call to demand that they drop these charges? Yeah! You can find the information that you need on these handouts. So please get one if you don't have one. Don't leave here without one. Our next speaker is Gina Thane.
Hi, I want to welcome everybody out, and I'm here representing my nephew, Dylan Taylor. We're also representing everything that's going on in Ferguson. Dylan Taylor was a young Chicano kid. He was 20 years old. And he went out with his brother Jarrell and my other son Adam, which they were raised together due to the fact that both parents of Dylan had passed away several years ago. So my family stepped in and took all 3 of these siblings in as our own.
God bless you.
And we love all 3 of them just the same. It was in the middle of the night that my son Adam called me and said that Dylan had just been shot and killed by police. I had heard this from my son once before when he called me to tell me that Dylan's mom, Aunt Marty, had died in the middle of the night. My son Adam told me that him and Jarrell were held for 8 hours at the police station, being questioned. in separate rooms in handcuffs. Now let me tell you a little story about Dylan. It was the middle of the day. They had just got off public transportation, and apparently there was a 911 call stating there were 3 young men in the area brandishing a weapon, a gun, or something. They went into the 7-Eleven, carrying on, bought a drink, come out, there were police there. Dylan had a little warrant, an infraction. So he wandered off, hoping they wouldn't see him. Officer Cruz followed him. He turned around. Officer Cruz demanded that he put his hands up. Dylan lifted his shirt to show that he had no weapon, and Officer Cruz shot him 2 times and killed him on the spot. No questions asked. Our Dylan laid there and gurgled in his own blood, while his cousin and his brother both watched him. You see on the news that they pushed him down and said, "Shut up," as they watched their brother die. Our state does not allow anything for these victims. They say that Dylan's family is not a victim. My ass. Amen. Everyone that has lost a family member here is a victim. He was murdered. To this day, there is no accountability for Ron Cruz. Our family's demands are, we want Ron Cruz to be accountable. We want to know where Ron Cruz is. Not one person here knows what Ron Cruz even looks like, other than the fact that he stood there the entire time with his finger on a trigger. He has no accountability. Is he getting paid? Is he going back to the police department? He's going home to his family every day, and Dylan doesn't get to do that. We appreciate every single one of you here. And like everybody here has said, this isn't just about Dylan anymore. It's about all of us as one. No matter the color, whether we're white or brown or green or purple, it does not matter. Amen. All lives matter. The only thing that matters here is we may come from a different world. We may not have as much money as other people, but you best believe that if people don't start standing up for their rights, one of these times their child is going to walk into our neighborhood or our 7-Eleven. God forbid that happen to anybody else in Utah. And God bless everyone here.
It's going to get worse and worse pretty soon. Every one of you will be having a victim in your life. God bless you.
Thank you. And please call and ask for these demands. Please find out what Ron Cruz is. Please find out why he's not accountable. Please find out why they shot an unarmed kid that committed no crime, no weapon, and he has no life. Thank you.
Do we want killer cops like Brian Cruz back on our streets? No! Are you going to fight with the families to demand justice? Yes! Are you going to make the phone call? Yes! You're going to call the SLCPD. You're going to demand that the public information officer release a public statement. We want to know where Brian Cruz is. We want to know what he was disciplined. We want to know if he was accountable. That's what the family wants. Are you going to get the family what they want?
Yes!
This brother wants to share a song with us. Do you want to hear a song from this brother?
Yes!
I thank everybody for coming. This is coming from a black man perspective. And we are at the point where there's no color in this, because in Utah there's a few black people and police still killing. We must ask, what's wrong with police mind?
Absolutely.
What is wrong with the guy that just took the gun, aimed, and shot a young man that need a chance to grow? Why? This song is how you call a mom at home and tell her your son just died. Oh, mama, 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 mama. How you calling mama and tell her your son ain't coming back home? Tell me why. Oh, tell me why. How you calling mama and tell her your son ain't coming back home? 9 months of pregnancy, gone, gone, gone. Your pain is gone, mama. Trying to raise a child to become a man, gone, gone. Your dreams, they say Captain John take his life. He ain't shot him, he never had a remorse. He's saying I did my job. Hey society, hey people, this is not about color anymore. It's why a mind of a young 22 to 35 years old can aim and shoot. This is the question society must ask itself. This is not about black, it's not about white, it's about a society developing within the citizen. How we stop that? This is serious. Whether you white, the privilege, even I get to become the commander of this country, black people have the privilege. This is natural thing. I always give the sample of the, you know when you go on the prairie, in the morning when the sun starts coming out, you see all the animals come out and they all play. When the stars start going down, you see them going back, following each other. There's nothing wrong with your color or your preference. It's how fair are you to other human beings? How life is precious to you. Please, when you go back, see, when I look here, I see more white people because this is Utah and people stand for the whites. People stand for the truth. We must stand for the truth. The life of this young man has been taken and we must stand for it. Thank you, people. Thank you.
There is a truth of the situation. It's this. We can no longer go on living in the old way where the cops get to murder black and brown youth. They get to deprive families of their loved ones. That's over. We're going to move forward. We're going to move past this. You've heard the demands of the families. So please, find the information that we're passing out. Work with the families. Fight with the families. We got our next speaker. We're going to hear from Brother Al.
How's everybody doing? I want everybody to join in with me on this chant that I came up with. It's called Lives Matter, but when I name the color after the man's name, Mike Brown, you respond by saying Lives Matter. I am Mike Brown.
Lives matter.
Black.
Lives matter.
Brown.
Lives matter.
Red.
Lives matter.
White.
Lives matter.
Yellow.
Lives matter.
Polynesian.
Lives matter.
Poor.
Lives matter.
I am Mike Brown. Black.
Lives matter.
Brown.
Lives matter.
Yellow.
Lives matter.
Red.
Lives matter.
Yellow.
Lives matter.
Polynesian.
Lives matter.
Poor.
Lives matter.
Homeless.
Lives matter.
All right. All right. I want to begin by sending shouts out to Utah Against Police Brutality. Thanks. SLC, SDS, and Freedom Road. Yeah. All right. I have a little bit of a change of rendition of America the Beautiful. I want you to take a listen. America, America, what do you have to gain? by stealing land, lives, and liberty. Now lost in cold blood stains. America, America, God turns his back on thee. The police state you become, from sea to shining sea. From the inception of this nation, my people came on slave ships. And we know that there are already people here to be discovered. They were already here for centuries. Yep. So this is what that was about. Now I want to take you back in history. We're just coming off of Thanksgiving. To a year before the Pilgrims landed up in Massachusetts, what was to become Massachusetts, the first boatload of slaves arrived, 1619. And after that, it takes us up to the present day. What have we had all that time? Hardship after hardship. It makes it look like Barack Obama and the White House is a joke with all of this happening. Call it what you will. Now, with that first boatload of slaves coming into the port of Jamestown, this is what some in the religious community here in Salt Lake might refer to as Lamanites. Anybody knows what the Lamanites were? Yes. The dark, they are cursed people. Okay, so this is our punishment, all right? This is what their belief is. So I am here to call them out. Yeah. We can't go on with that kind of mentality. So the whole arrival, I want to take you down the path with me in history. When we had the great, what's called the American Moses, arrived here and declared